Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folari. I hope we meet you well. We always do. Today we have two subject matters. Let's quickly nip over, as it were, metaphorically speaking, to Kogi State, and in particular, the state of politics over there. As you know, a number of major and popular politicians are there, one of which is has been referred to as the landlord. He's a two-term member of the House of Representatives, and of late there have been, creative headlines along the lines of have the tenants evicted the landlord? Indeed. Luckily for us, our guest this morning is also a journalist, and in the person of Bashiru Abdul Muhammad. He's special advisor on public communications to Honorable Elder Leke Joseph Abejide. And thank you very much for coming to the studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you, Uncle Yori, for having me from the Lagos studio.
Sorry, sir. Yes. Go on. I was grateful that you are here to help us shed light on, this political situation. What's going on with, a person such as Elder, Abejide, the Honorable Elder Abejide, and the report is that he's been expelled from the party for a series of, what is it now? A series of non-party, activities. And even worse, it is alleged that members of this group have actually written to the Honorable Speaker to declare his Yagba state, his Yagba seat vacant. All of this doesn't seem like very good news, and it doesn't look as if things have remained the way they have been for a long while, when the Honorable Elder was referred to as, in a positive way, as the landlord. Now, the question is being asked, have the tenants, have they expelled the landlord? Over to you, sir, Mr. Muhammad.
Thank you so much. Well, this is very apt and most timely to having me. Quickly, before I respond to what is on ground, it is quite very timely and very conscious. I correct a statement, which I know you are not unaware of, from one former Senator Dino Melaye that was very derogatory against the person of our national leader, Elder Leke Joseph Abejide. It is worrisomely regrettable that when one lacks morals and lacks regards for culture, such a person constitutes menace in a society. And as such, they become socially deviant in the public palace. Well, it is on this ground that if somebody becomes socially deviant, they are to be confined to two facilities. Either of these two facilities, a psychiatric facility or an isolated residential facility. That Dino Melaye, whom I refer to be suffering from what I call malfunctioning cognitive disorder by becoming a chronic embarrassment to common sense. Excuse me, whose reasoning faculty runs on an expired software. By all standards of life, former Senator Dino Melaye cannot be equated to our very respected, well-behaved, and cultured national leader of the ADC and a performing rep member, our principal, Right Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide. This program, we're going to be a medium for me to telling you and the world who Honorable Leke Abejide is, was entrepreneurially and academically before sojourning into politics. Right Honorable Leke Abejide is a man who has been innately gifted to speak at the pace and speed he speaks on public functions. Not just because that translates to dumbness, neither grammatical deficiency. I want to tell you this, that he has been an exceptional student, an administrator, all his life who has come first positions at all classes and all levels of education, which he has had in the past. His performances academically can be proven and also traced to his most recent institution, the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where the Honorable came out as one of the top best graduates from a very tedious Department of Economics, class 99. And I want to tell you, his records are there. Very coincidentally, in that same university, that Dino Melaye also claimed to have graduated from. I think as journalists, having me on this program, I want you to invoke sections 467 of the FOI Act 2011, demands the academic history and performance. Let's compare notes to find out who is the dullard. Let's compare notes and see who was almost rusticated. Let's compare notes to see who was almost awarded a certificate of attendance, except for the institution Senate intervention. We want to also compare notes to see who is intelligently parochial.
Okay.
Having said this,
yes, thank you. I hope that's the end of that. I hope that's the end of that. You did say that
one minute. I am well guided, please.
Has been rude. The senator has been rude, and I think you got your pound of flesh. But could we now please move on to the subject matter of politics in Kogi?
I am well guided. Just 1 minute. Entrepreneurially, Honorable Leke Abejide has been a serial entrepreneur, has been a successful businessman, an astute industrialist, who has worked severally all his life, contributing to the growth of the nation. This is a man who has worked with Turkish international organizations, multinational organizations, before his most recent organization, known as the IBM Diva International, where he left as a managing director to sojourn into politics and governance. This is a man that his company has been recognized severally by APM Terminals in collaboration with West Africa Container Terminals Association. And I want to tell you this, that this is a man that has his investment all over the places in the city. This is a man who has done so much in governance, in academics and entrepreneur, compared to whoever Dino Melaye would be, whoever he was, and he is at the moment. It can never come closer to him. Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the real subject matter of today. It's important. Yes. What you've just said is important. Yes. You know, you got your pound of flesh. Senator Dino Melaye, you know, locally, you're a senator for life. Just like generals are generals for life. He reportedly has been quite rude, and I think you've dealt with that decisively. Now, talking about serially,
thank you.
How about the charge that your man has been a serial committer of acts of indiscipline against the party, the ADC, which led to his expulsion from the party?
Thank you. Firstly, I need to correct an assertion, a misinformation from your question. Our leader, the national leader of the ADC, hasn't been expelled from the party. Get that correctly before I proceed. Nobody can expel Right Honorable Leke Abejide. This is a man who remained as the national leader of the party. This is a man who has committed all his time to the constitution of the party. This is a man who has committed his tenets and objectivity to bringing up the party. What is the constitution of our party? When the chairman resigns, the deputy takes over. We are in line with the constitutional stipulations as enshrined in the constitution of the party that Leke Abejide remain the national leader and Nafiu Bala are national chairman. And I want to tell you this today on air, that the likes of Dino Melaye and others who has mispresented an information on the public space that Leke Abejide was erroneously disqualified is not just satanic but fallacious. And I refer to his likes as the co-travelers and usurpers in the ADC. What I mean by usurpers are people who are holding power illegitimately and temporarily. So I want to tell you this. Having this from me with the authority of my leader, you shall not hear from any other person but what I'm telling you. Leke is not expelled. The party remains very tactically. The state leadership of the party is recognized and centers around the leadership of Honorable Chief Sunday Meyaki and Mama Nakpena as the state secretary respectively. And the position of Honorable Leke Abejide stands from now till tomorrow and forever until the litigations, well, we have some litigation challenging the manners of takeover of the coalition. That's an encroachment constitutionally. That is already in the court, which I'm not going to talk about that. I want to tell you this. As far as the judgment comes and processes are concluded, we are going to do what we need to do nationally, conventionally, to take the structure of our party. And let me tell you this also. ADC has no faction. Authoritatively, unequivocally, and unambiguously, I put this to you that the authentic ADC of the state remain those I have mentioned, and authentic national leader remain Honorable Leke Abejide, authentic national chairman remain Nafiu Bala. Thank you.
How do you explain the National Working Committee of ADC ratifying the earlier expulsion of the Kogi federal lawmaker, Representative Abejide, and this act was endorsing an earlier decision of the state chapter, of the party, which was reportedly, allegedly, if you want, for serial acts of indiscipline and anti-party activities.
Let me tell you this. What we had was not ADC National Working Committee.
I see.
I refer to them as a coalition National Working Committee. They don't have a party. They are not members of the ADC. We don't recognize them. The constitution of the party does not recognize them. So who is not recognized? How can you take a decision for the party? At the moment and for the interim, you can say the National Working Committee of the coalition party, if there's anything of such. You understand? Who is legitimately holding power? It's Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide, the national leader, a very respected, well-cultured, well-mannered national leader, and that of Nafiu Bala. Those are people we know. And also, I beg to put you very correctly that at the moment, if not until the litigations and process of the court is completed, we don't have ADC that is functioning on a national level and National Working Committee to have suspended Leke. There's nothing of such existing. And I'm telling you this very categorically clear again. Down to the extension of the states, what we also had is nothing but also a wing of the coalitions in the states. ADC in the states is Honorable Chief Meyaki Sunday. That is the chairman. And the secretary is Honorable Mama Nakpena. And the national leader, as it stands today, is Right Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide. Until court judgment is pronounced, there is no National Working Committee of ADC. National Working Committee of the coalition will be more appropriate, please, for this program. Thank you.
So where has a seeming confusion come from? By which I mean, I think it's on record, and I'm very happy that you're here. You can correct me. Honorable Elder Abejide is reported to, have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the next election. I don't know if that was done in his own capacity. I'm guessing perhaps it would. But it is also felt that ADC, that's Honorable Abejide, you've just explained, is still gidigba on ground, to paraphrase slightly former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He's still on ground within the ADC. So how does that work out? If the party reportedly, is going to be fielding someone else from within its folds, is it not going to be something of, let me borrow a street term, katakata, for somebody within the party to now say he indeed is endorsing the president, much as that might be music to the ears of anybody who is in the president's party?
Well, I want to react to this as well. For the umpteen times, our leader, Right Honorable Leke Abejide, has not hidden his passion and love for His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he has a good plan for the party.
Which members of your party say is anti-party? Which members of your party say is anti-party?
Which member of which party? Which member of which party? Is it the coalition party, if there's anything of such? ADC is in Abejide. Abejide is the ADC. Is the landlord. As it stands now, I still have you to be corrected. Until court verdict is pronounced, we don't have any other National Working Committee, any other party member, aside from Leke, Abejide, and Nafi Ubala. Any other people you see are usurpers. I call them the usurpers who are illegitimately holding power for the temporarily. When court verdict comes in their favor, then afterwards we can have another debate to ensure, then you can refer to them as members of the party. We are standing by the constitution that when the chairman resigns, the deputy takes over. Our chairman resigned, our deputy has taken over, and our national has taken over. So whatever I'm telling you today is not out of contest. It's out of constitutional backdrop, out of constitutional levity and constitutional privileges. Now, the party where he is the national leader came on an agreement and a consensus that, look, our party is yet to produce a president. We are not yet buoyant. Let's not have our vote wasted. And his passion for the president has been seen all over. He has so much passion. He has so much love. He has so much continuation for Mr. President, His Excellency. And he said, okay, look, for him to continue the renewed hope agenda, we shouldn't waste our votes in the party. We're going to collapse structure in due time for the re-election of the president. He's the highest organ of the party as a national leader. So who dare challenges him? Until court talks otherwise, nobody takes anything from Leke Abejide in that party. Every other people you see are jokers, like I said, usurpers, sojourners.
You took offense when somebody took license with language in relation to your principle. Here you are doing almost the same thing.
Take that again, please.
I say you took offense when, it was reported that Senator Dino Melaye, was loose with his language.
Former Senator Dino Melaye.
Okay. But you took offense when you thought that he had been quite loose with his words to the detriment of your principle. But you've been almost guilty of the same. You just wiped out a whole set of people who are politicians as well with the language that you just used yourself.
Can you take that again, please?
Okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it. Let me go to the other question, which is that I'm interested in to glean from you where this leaves politics in Kogi State. This will be an interpretation of yours, but I would really like to hear it. What do you think this says about the state of politics in Kogi State, and what can we look forward to politically coming out of Kogi?
Coming out of Kogi, are you talking in a general context or limiting it to coming out of Kogi in the ADC contest?
Well, I imagine that, Leke Abejide is interested in more, apart from the national, sphere, he is interested in the politics in Kogi State. He's interested in the politics in Kogi State. So where does all of this now leave his stance? We use the euphemism of landlord and tenants, and slides. It is you editors yourself that came up with those creative headlines, and that's. So what does this now say about the state of politics in Kogi State?
Well, the state of politics in Kogi State, Leke Abejide has never been anti-government. He has his support for the state government to doing what is right. This is a man who has been charging the governor and the government of the state. He commends them where it's needful and charges the governor to do exactly where it is needed. He's a well-behaved leader. I think he has no issue with the current administration of the state, but perhaps he's only calling them where their attention is needed to correcting some anomalies, most especially in areas of emerging insecurity.
particularly becoming concerning to that of the Western Senatorial District and some other issues bordering on the state development. I think Honorable Leke Abejide calls frequently, he's a friend to the governor, to doing the needful, and not just for his constituent, to eliminating insecurity from the entire of the state. And also, particularly framing it back to the context, the state of affairs of the ADC in Kogi. I keep hammering on this. Right Honorable Leke Abejide, undisputed and indispensably, is the national leader of the party. As I speak to you, whoever queues behind one former expelled chairman, Kingsley somebody, or whoever queues behind former Senator Dino Melaye are time wasters. ADC is not available for them to hijack. They can return back to their PDP, they can return back to ABGA, they can go back to wherever they are and take hold of the structure. We don't condone indiscipline. These guys are continuous content creators. I thank God that their leader, former Senator Dino Melaye, has just passed his auditioning with the Nigerian Nollywood. It should be confined to Asabawood or Nollywood. In ADC in Kogi, Leke Abejide is on ground. This is a man who won 2 House of Reps election twice. Under ADC, when no one knew the party. Winning an election twice, House of Reps election twice, is not easy. Winning it under a party nobody knew about shows that Leke Abejide is on ground. As I speak to you, Leke Abejide has done so much beyond his constituents. Should I list them? Not limited to. This is a man who has been constantly registering free WAEC for the people of Okun and Yagba people before sojourning into politics. This is a man
Yagba is his federal constituency. Yagba is the
Yagba is his federal constituency. But by his kinds of philanthropical gesture, he extends these things beyond Yagba, immediate constituency. This is a man who has initiative for women, initiative empowering the women in Yagba and even in Okuland. This is a man who rolls out hundreds of millions non-interest loan for Okun and Yagba women business people. This is a man who has facilitated constructions and repairs of asphalt roads. This is a man who is on ground, who has brought installations, continuous installation of electricity to the people. This is a man who has facilitated jobs for Okun sons and daughters in federal government agencies and MDAs. This is a man who has donated SUVs to party chieftains and traditional rulers that are deemed appropriate to having mobility. This is also a man who has so many Okun daughters employable and working with IBM Diva International Limited, his immediate company where he left to sojourn into politics. As I speak to you, Honorable Leke Abejide is on ground, fully on ground. I told you earlier that the pace and the level at which Honorable Leke Abejide speaks is an innate talent. Nobody should mistake that for grammatical deficiency or dumbness. Okay. He has so much machineries, arsenals that are beyond me to attend to whoever is misbehaving in the public. That is why I told you during my during my opening speech, that look, whoever becomes socially deviant, that gathers people to insult people, are to be confined to either of these two facilities. And I'm referring categorically clear to former Senator Dino Melaye. It should be either confined to a psychiatric facility or to be taken to an isolated residential facility. That is where he belongs. And I want to tell you this. Why
isn't this being personal?
It's because
aren't you being personal against Senator Dino Melaye?
How do you respect a man who has another home? Are you getting my point now? Former Senator Dino Melaye has crossed the border, and I want to tell you this, having given you all the objectives surrounding the ADC state, I want to hammer back at him. He does not have a home, and he cannot respect who is a head of another home. That is available. If they want to take over ADC, he should tell his co-usurpers to go back to PDP. There is no way in ADC or any letter transmitted to Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas requesting for his seat to be declared vacant is null and void upon receipt. Those people who transmitted that letter should get themselves cognizance and get themselves familiar to the sections of the Constitution that stipulate what it takes to have a legislator's seat declared vacant. There's nothing in the state. We are living peacefully. As soon as court judgment comes to our favor, we shall proceed for our convention.
and we shall have ADC formalized to working for His Excellency, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu.
Okay, which is perhaps one of the real issues that led. But you said, Elder Honorable Abejide, he's passionate about Mr. President's achievements and his politics and his leadership. Personally, that's him, and he doesn't owe anybody an apology. This has not gone down well with some co-travelers of his in the ADC. Hence, they say that this man, if you are not for us, then you can't be with us. We can't have an quote-unquote political enemy within. That seems to have been the crux of the matter. And, well, you've spoken about Senator Dino Melaye quite, copiously. He's a man that, his colorful speech is known, but you said beyond color, he was rude to your principle. And I think you've given a fair measure back.
I'm sorry to interject you. What was colorful in a derogatory statement? Dino has never been brilliant. That's why I'm challenging you as a journalist. Bring me back on this program. Invoke sections 456 of the FOI Act that gives you freedom of information to Abu Zaria. Demand the academic history of Honorable Leke Abejide, class 99, and Dino Melaye from one department called Geography of class 2000. Let's have their performances compared. Let's see who is the dullard, who is academically deficient. There is nothing colorful in the statement of Dino Melaye. His issue should be taken seriously. But for the sake of emphasis, we want to compare notes. Let's see who is the dullard. Do that and give us an audience, and we shall know. He had that colorful speech. When a man lacks regards for culture, do you call that colorful?
Okay,
when a man insults people, do you call that colorful? When a man insults somebody who is the head of a home, because he does not have a home, he does not know the value of another man's head in his home, no, don't call that colorful. Let's go to the subject of the day. That is a less matter to be discussed on National Daily.
All right.
Please, let's talk what is on.
Maazio Korafo, thank you for holding on. Go ahead now, please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Maazio.
We have seen now in Nigeria that when somebody climbs up, they remove the ladder. They don't even care. But what I should advise our elders, whether a former senator or current senator, we have a lot to do. Like we saw what happened yesterday between Senator Simole and Ndume. Is that supposed to happen the way it's supposed to be? Yes. There must be a decorum. Anything we do in the public, we should not bring anything that has to do with us outside into the system, into the public gallery. At the end of the day, you now educate the young ones that when you do anything with anybody, just with anytime you have an opportunity, it's not healthy. Because it's what we call a man. A man is not somebody when you have an half body, just move a big body. No. A man is somebody who has what we call wisdom. Whenever you are doing, when you have the utterance, whenever you are talking, it's just like a program we offer today. There are times that when the people want to direct, that is because you are monitoring what they are saying, you are monitoring what they are saying. That is what the people that they will just apologize, which means it was not an intentional act from that person who was trying to deviate from what they did. That is why I see people like, look, unless in this country, the politicians take politics as education, not as an occupation. As long as they are taking it as an occupation, they are just to generate
okay.
We should keep it aside. We shouldn't bring it into the system. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Maazio Korafo, for also for keeping it brief. Offense has been given, it has been taken, and now some of it is being given back. We cannot pronounce any judgment. Politicians come in different hues and colors. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you about the Right Honorable Malema of the South African Parliament. They just come in all hues, mostly operating under the cover of privilege. That they have the privilege to speak. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, and all of that. But as you did say earlier, we do and as Maazio Korafo has just said, we do expect decorum from our elders, where they happen to be elders of a substantial number of people. It's done, but I want to be sure that if there's something in there that you want to put out, we are giving you the opportunity to do so. When you said, let me react to that, I wondered what you
Yes.
wanted to react to. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I have nothing much to react to, but what I want to say is this. I wanted to roll out the effort of Honorable Leke Abejide being 100% local content. That is
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Policy itself is local. Honorable Leke Abejide is localized in the game, and that is why he's on ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really do appreciate your coming on the program this morning. And you've, adjusted
pleasure
the
is mine.
landscape. You've adjusted the landscape